Mic check, mic check.
Put these on. Okay. Mic check. Mic check, mic check.
You hear me? Mic check.
Don't tell him you're a rapper. He's gonna take a freestyle.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a fact. Oh, you rap?
No.
No, it's too late now. I got to hear something. I got to know something.
No.
Rap name was,
Wait a minute now. This is way back in
No.
in what 2000? What?
I keep saying Shawty Red.
It is Shawty Red.
Shawty Red?
It's Shawty Red. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay. Who's the other girl?
I,
Sexy Red. You Shawty Red. She's sexy.
Nah, that ain't no way back in the day. That means you still
no.
got it.
No,
Everybody
no.
rapping now. I need to know.
how long ago was that? Like 2000? That was like
I know.
not.
Bill Marshall.
Yeah,
Told me.
shit.
That's why I put you in that post. Way back
in the day. That means
What post?
Hey,
documentary on,
you know they can hear us on the live, right?
Yeah, that's cool though.
Oh, okay.
It's cool. It's just a countdown.
You better tell me. I've been saying something.
Me too.
You doing mic checks?
Yeah, you got to tell me.
Listen. Listen.
Man, brother, I
Listen.
was canceled. Do you hear me? Like
Your boy, they waiting on who next.
canceled. Shawty Red. That's what they call you. Yeah. Oh, y'all know you got some on YouTube?
Man, no,
What this? You don't have no song on YouTube?
no.
Yes, you do.
This was a 1999 type.
I'm gonna meet y'all so y'all can.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Listen.
You got a button for that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Drops. That
I'm
drops.
trying to do some. I need to do your drop.
Huh, man. That motherfucker need to say, huh, man.
I said, I was watching the old podcast, man. I said something so wild.
Mike's hot.
Oh yeah, I know. It's all good. They was talking about older women, and the girl was like, "Oh, you know, women aren't based on their age. That's not their value, right?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
not too much on us.
"Yeah, nah, we just might check it." And I was like, "Man, an older woman is like a new wheelchair." I said, "No matter how good you look, don't nobody want to be in you by choice."
That was crazy.
That is, oh my,
What is your last name, Burns?
Burns.
That Mr. Oh.
Mr. Burns, that's me. That's me. But I thought that was the wildest analogy.
Oh, let me get my live going too. Where's my phone? Am I grabbing that phone from me off the couch?
If you do these countdowns, I just leave hot.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing? Why you whispering?
I don't know.
No, ain't you on with us? Yeah, when you get here. Come on.
We're on countdown right now. You gotta do mic check.
What you want me to say?
You put your headphones on too.
I'm definitely retired though. And
That's bizzle.
Rapping.
yeah, I might drop one last tape
You
next
ain't
year.
retired, man. I said
No,
the
I'm-
same thing, man. Good try.
No, I'm for real though.
All right.
I'm dead serious.
All right. You talking about one last tape? How you retired?
I'm just gonna do that for the sake of
Going out how you want to go out?
yeah. I want to prove that I'm gonna drop the hardest tape that ever been. I think the next 10, 20 years, I don't think nobody from here gonna drop a harder tape, and I'm out the way.
Oh, okay.
I'll drop an AI album.
Oh my God.
So you gonna write the bars and have another rapper's voice?
I'll let it do everything.
No.
You got the you got that little stick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
The stick. What's wrong with the lip gloss? What's wrong with the
Mic
stick?
check.
It's a girl. It's gonna have me looking
Glossy.
sweet and like my lips sweet.
Yeah, but it's hard. Can't nobody see that on the camera.
Nah, you can see this. It's just some lip gloss be too thick. You know, look like chapstick. It's gloss.
Oh, it's glossy.
You see it? Look. Like what your grandma used to do to you in church.
Mm-hmm. You don't look glossy. Okay.
Get that off your face.
I'm gonna mute y'all.
All right, we mute.
Oh, it's on me? Look at this live thing. I
You
be so
booing.
unprepared.
They waiting on who next.
Look, you ever seen somebody who not used to being on camera, they look at themselves 1st
Mm-hmm.
I'm staring at the camera. It's so unprofessional. How y'all doing?
Wonderful.
You got nervous when that live thing came on? It make you tight? Are you good? Everybody?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, cool. Listen, I'm gonna kick it off early today. I'm not wasting no time. I'm getting into the topics. I honestly don't have no jokes. I normally start off with something funny, but first of all, this is the Anxiety Issues Podcast. Welcome to our second iteration of this show. We're trying out some new things, so bear with us. We'll get more in rhythm as time goes along. But excuse me, I'm liking the live situation. How you feel about the live so far?
I like it. I think it takes some getting used to, for sure. But I think once you start doing it and we get in rhythm, you kind of forget that it's live.
Right.
Yeah, but initially it's a little weird.
Agreed. And if you're in the chat, like whether you see this during the live or you see it after on YouTube or something like that, please put things in the comments that you may miss about the old version of the podcast. I mean, our overall goal is to make the best show we can possible. So if we're leaving out something that was really dope prior, we would like to add it back in. Also, when you hear us talk on these specific topics, if you're in the chat, please also put your opinions down in the chat. I'll try to put a comment at the top to kind of keep you abreast on whatever topics that we're speaking on, and then you kind of just put in the comments how you feel. If the comment is dope, we'll talk about it. You said we can video chat too? Video chat?
Yeah, there's a Ecamm Live link on my page. If you go to my Facebook page, there's an Ecamm Live link that you can click on, and then it'll allow you to put turn your front camera on, and then we can add you into the chat. I ignored y'all all last podcast.
Same.
Y'all was just talking and asking questions, and I'm just reading it and just looking at y'all talk to y'allself. We ain't gonna leave y'all hanging this week.
Absolutely. So we might not really know how to, do the video chat right away, but we'll figure it out. Like if anybody want to be a guinea pig or, come in the chat and let us know. And I feel like a streamer now, like, 25 gifted in the chat, like them Castanet boys speak to. But anyway, this is the Anxiety Issues Podcast. We have two beautiful guests with us here today. Am I going with Shawty Red or am I going with Belinda? Which do you prefer?
Belinda.
All right, I'm gonna go with Belinda. Belinda was gonna put Jesus on a onesie and come in here. That's what you told me, right? You was gonna put faith on a what they call it, a
Don't
romper.
start that light skin stuff.
Okay, you with me?
Yeah.
We are a team.
Not really.
I got a light skin topic later on too.
You know that's crazy how light skinned women act like they ain't a part of the light skinned community.
That's because they get uplifted. Like light skinned women get uplifted, and light skinned men is like a soft, like y'all soft. But light skinned women is like, oh, that's the thing. You feel me? So they don't feel like they with us.
Not really.
I feel you. They don't. No support over here.
That's crazy.
It's all right. Thanks to Steph Curry and Drake. We'll make it. And Miss Candace.
Hi.
I feel like you should. Do you have any nicknames or something like, or is it just Candace? Is it just
Most people call me Needles.
Needles? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. I feel like I should shorten that or something. But Needles, Candace,
Short needles.
It's got to be something.
There's nothing
Like
short
a
than
Nene.
needles.
That on Nene don't fit. All right, let me work on it. Give me some time. I'm gonna figure something out. What I was doing is we're trying to work on our clipping situation. So I took the liberty of going online, watching our old podcast, and working on some clips. And as I was watching our old shows, I couldn't help but to feel like we were going pretty hard on black women. That was never the goal. I don't think I set out for that. I don't think Bone set out to do that either. We are men, so obviously we're heterosexual men, so we date black women. Well, me, majority, not always, but majority of the time. So, of course, when we're talking about our experiences, whether positive or negative, we're talking about women, right? We don't have the experience of dating men. So if there are no women on this show to combat what we're saying, it does kind of sound like we're beating up on women in general, but especially black women. And I don't want to blend in with the other podcasts. So there are podcasts that are created just to bash women. Like that is a genre nowadays. I'm sure you've noticed. Mm-hmm. If you go online, there are people you can tune into just for the sheer enjoyment of watching men shit on women. Like that is a whole genre of podcasting. Mm-hmm. And I don't want that to be for us. We may be talking some true shit about your behaviors or failures when it comes to how you treat black men, but it's all with the purpose of correction and not, to belittle or,
And coming off of a beating like that, when you do watch podcasts where that's all dudes do, because most of those podcasts are podcasts with men who don't have real interactions with women who usually don't get women, right? So when you come off of watching a podcast like that to where you've been bashed and beaten and bruised, then when somebody comes off with some information that they mean well with,
Right.
you feel me, that's in your favor, you kind of can't hear it because you're already on the defensive from hearing all the other stuff. All you hear is criticism.
Facts.
You don't really see that as coming from a place of love. You just feel like you're being bashed. So it's easy to kind of, I get it though, it's easy to kind of confuse the two.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's a good point too. Like many other podcasters have nothing to lose by bashing women. They wasn't getting women in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So what do I have to lose here? You get what I'm saying? So like you say, we've had very favorable opportunities to be with women. So we gain nothing by beating up on you. You know what I mean?
We actually lose.
Yeah.
Well, what about the delivery? Is it the delivery of it? Because I think that matters.
I think it does too. But there's two sides to that. Personally, I think delivery does matter. But you're also on the internet where a lack of catering also is what goes viral. You know, sometimes people want to hear brutal honesty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it has to be a balance. I think I serve on the show as the person who does it way too often. You know what I'm saying? But that's always my goal. So when I come on here, I say stuff with no cut on it. You know what I mean? I don't mean it as harsh as it sounds, but I also understand people are watching to be entertained, whether that's something you enjoy or, you know, something that makes you angry, you know?
I think both of us have a reputation for that kind of just saying whatever. And but that was the whole reason why we created the podcast, because we wanted a space to where we could say what we wanted to say, no fluff.
Yeah, very much so. But what I wanted to do today is I wanted to come in and I wanted to talk specifically. Please put in the chat how you feel about, you know, this particular question. I want to know ways that black men have failed, specifically black women. When I talk to women on this show, and I always ask them about their behaviors or lack thereof, I always say like, hey, can you mention what you do wrong without mentioning us? You know what I mean? Typically when you ask a woman like, hey, what do you think women do wrong? Some kind of way you twist it back into, I'm doing this because of y'all. You know what I mean? I want to take the time to talk amongst us, and I don't want to mention anything that women do wrong. Like whatever their behaviors are, whatever the reasons for their behaviors are, have nothing to do with this conversation. I just want to know specifically either ways you feel black men are letting you down, ways you personally been let down, or ways that we've actually let former partners down or current partners down. Things like that, just things that we can improve and do better. And like I say, put in the chat ways that you've been let down or things you think you can improve, and we'll answer those too. I think it's only right that I toss it to a lady. Anyone can go, Miss Belinda or Candace.
Okay. I feel like black men, in general, when I speak amongst pairs, like female pairs, the biggest complaint is that our community, the black community, is the only community where women have to tell men that your purpose is to provide and protect. I feel like most other communities, men already know that that's their role, right? And we like to say, okay, we're into traditional roles, right?
Correct.
Most of us like to say that, right? But when it comes on to providing and protecting, or men are allowed to fall short, and we come up with all sorts of excuses.
Right. Yeah. My smile is not to interrupt you, though. Please keep talking. When you hear things like that, it's I see where women come from, where you want to respond. You know what I mean? I want to say why that may be. Like, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. Right. Because that's tough. What she said, I speak a little louder, so let me reiterate. She said black men are the only men that she feels like have to be told that their role or mission is to provide and protect. That's deep, though. If you really think about that, like, that is the only purpose. I mean, to be honest, if I feel as a man, I can't speak for Bone, but those are the two biggest things that, or if not the only things, we exist for.
Right.
And to think that black women feel like we have to be told to do what we were built to do. That's deep, though.
In defense of that, though, just to play devil's advocate, I do think that sometimes...
Don't do it. You can't mention them.
No, I'm not mentioning them. This is on us. I understand the assignment.
Yeah.
I think that... You almost made me lose my point.
My bad. My fault.
No, but I think sometimes men who are like that confuse themselves with every other man. and you kind of forget that you're an anomaly. You forget that you are a unique case in some cases, right? Like, I think when you think about like the average man, right?
Right.
Neither one of us fall into that category for the most part. You feel me?
True.
Like when they say like something like they say that less than 3% of the population has $5,000 in the bank.
Right.
Right? You feel like you're gonna jump out a window if that's your situation most times.
I fall in it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but what I'm saying though, there have been
I got
times,
a parlay that's about to hit, though,
right?
So it's such.
But there have been times where you didn't fall into that category, and that was like that didn't make sense, and you thought that was the wildest shit ever.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I think when women speak about men and they generalize men who don't fall in those categories have the loudest voice and speak out and say it's BS. And I think that happens the same when we have complaints about women who don't fall into those categories come from the back as if it's an assault on them when we're not talking about you because you may be an anomaly. You may be somebody that's not a part of that large percent.
Agreed. But I don't know your dating history or anything like that, but I don't think you would date the average guy. I don't think you would date either of you, for that matter. I don't think you would date. Maybe you've had some bad relationships, but I don't see you dating the Joe Smo that clearly has no goal to protect or provide. I don't see you being interested in that. So my comment to you would be, or my response to you would be, is it possible that there are levels to provision and protection? And even if we don't fall in the lower tier of that, maybe we would suffice for the mid-range of what women's expectations would be. But there's a heightened level that we should all reach. And maybe we still fall short in providing and protecting. We just do it better than the average guy, so we're giving us credit, but we still fall short of the goal. You know what I mean?
For sure. But I think two things can be true. I think that I can be someone who would never date that type of woman, right? Mm-hmm. But I could still recognize it in women that I'm not dating, which is more than you feel me? Because usually, just like they say, men like they say, men love hoes, but we don't want to date one.
Yes,
you feel what I'm saying?
I don't mind.
Yeah, but usually most men ain't gonna choose one, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing that we can get a good woman and we choose our woman, and we be talking about women, but we ain't talking about our woman. Just like a woman will be talking about men, but not my man.
So let's personalize. On a scale from 1 to 10, right? How do you feel, 10 being the perfect fairy tale protector and provider? Mm-hmm. Where do you fall on the scale 1 to 10? Do you feel your level of protection and provision lies?
He's a 10. He's a 10.
Ma'am?
He's a 10.
I would like to think that I'm a 10, but I think that that 10 being so strong, I fall short in have fallen short in so many other categories because that 10 is so strong. I think when you have strengths in one area, you kind of leave a lot of areas unchecked.
Mm-hmm. But if you break it down, those shortcomings might fall underneath, because we try to put everything on the basic. When you hear protect, you think physical, fight, whatever, provide, money, right? Mm-hmm. But protection can be not having a lack of emotional connection, not being there, like when there's a hard time when your girl's trying to express something to you, not being a good listener. Like all of that falls under protection for a woman, because all of those things are, sure, I could beat up a guy if he's trying to mug you or something like that, but when you come to me with your issues or your problem, like I might not hear them well, and then I'm not protecting your heart, or I'm not protecting your mind, or if you're into the spiritual realm, I might not be protecting you spiritually. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So those shortcomings can also fall under protection.
Right.
And
well,
provision.
if you're gonna bundle a man like that, I think most men fall short.
Yeah.
I think most men fall short. But I think from a traditional standpoint, if you're gonna just say like my granddaddy, you feel me? Like I'm a 10. But if we're gonna go to the modern man, to where a lot of other things come into play, a lot of things that we weren't taught, because the men that raised us were just hard men.
True.
Right? They weren't taught any of that, so we had to learn it on our own. Most of everything that I've learned has been trial and error. You feel me? Like damaging people along the way, but it's like I'm figuring it out. I'm making a lot of phone calls and text messages back to people who I kind of left in the dust, like, my bad.
Right.
You feel me? Right. Like I was wild. I couldn't see it now, but I couldn't see it then, but I see it now. So I think we're all gonna fall short on that. I think the thing that's most important for men right now is to be able to recognize it.
Yes.
You feel me? And catch it and correct it. But I think our egos are so big sometimes, and we're so focused on what we do well that we neglect the things we don't, and our egos don't allow us to even be aware of what we can't fix. I found myself in arguments to where like I'm going hard about like what I'm doing and how I'm feeling, and I'm ignoring everything that's been said. The obvious, you feel me? And it's just like you have to go back and kind of tone it down and check yourself and look and kind of think about it, or it has to happen to you.
Yeah.
You feel me? Usually we figure it out when it happens to us, or we're in that
You
position.
figure it out quick when it happens to you.
For sure.
But listen, I'm transparent as they come. So you holler 10 real quickly. But with everything all encompassing, spiritual, emotional, listening, is it still 10? And that's not I know him personally to think that if he's not, he don't take that as an offensive thing. If
Not at all.
like, he understands growth. So just curious.
All right. So let me first say that if we're gonna look on it like on a wide spectrum, like you're now putting it, right? These will be subjective. So my version of provision and protection might be different from hers, and different from the viewers, right? As it relates to what I require from my man, I still wholeheartedly say he's a 10, right? Because my thing is that we are all human, right? Which means we all come with flaws and we all fall short, right?
Right.
Him falling short is not that's not the important part for me, right? Is how he catches himself gracefully when I say, babe, I have an issue with this, right? And not just catching himself gracefully, but also coming around to apologize and acknowledge where he fell short and attempting to fix it, even if it doesn't get fixed.
That nigga must have learned that last week. There was none of the things I grew up knowing. This man.
But what's funny though, I think growth happens quickly, and I think when you kind of look back, because I don't think, bro, honestly, I don't think I've dated a woman that was terrible. You feel me? I think that when there's women who you don't align with and you're not in alignment, it's hard to kind of line up with somebody to even see. You feel me? If you're terrible, it's hard for somebody else to be terrible because you got to fix you first, right? Yeah. So I kind of look back at a lot of my past relationships, and even the one I'm in now, it's just like they say, if something keep failing, bro, you're the common denominator. You feel me? So at some point, you have to look at yourself and say, like, damn, bro, is it you? So my method now is like, fix me. You feel me? And now I can sternly hold somebody else accountable. But I always say, the better I get, the harder it is to deal with me, because you got to be just as good. You got to be right too. Right. And I think when you do like hear podcasts or hear people talk all the time, all they talk about is what they want and what they want somebody else to be, but nobody's talking about what they want to provide or what they want to give or how they're going to correct themselves or how they're going to approach the situation. You feel me? Yeah. So I just think it's a matter of just kind of like trying to fix myself so that way I can hold her accountable. You feel me? It's hard to hold somebody accountable when you can't like handle your own. But it's just like I think growth happens fast too. You feel me? All you got to do is be in a position where you've lost something or you're about to lose something, and you'll fix it. You feel me? Yeah.
I'm gonna put you in the black. I'm gonna come back to that. I got a question that's gonna put you in the bind here. But just to get you involved in, I want to get your answer on the way you feel like black men have failed black women. But first, what is your response? Do you agree with we lack the ability to protect and provide, or even attempt to protect and provide?
I mean, I agree exactly with what she was saying, and even like just changing up, like you saying when you explain it to him, hey, it's a problem, and it's changed behavior. Like apologizing and the same stuff happening, then that's a problem. But changing it or trying to change the behavior, that's at least trying. But I do think one of the things for me, for black men, for our, that.
Let me have it now. Go ahead.
Not standing on your word. I feel like it's hard to find a man to really stand, like they do something, they stand on their word. Like,
but that's T right there. She just dropped some gems. Okay.
And that's big for me.
Nerdy kid from his camera, yeah, we making moves.
Look, so we learning. We got the wrong drop. That was yeah. Now go ahead. I mean, you just dropped some fire. We're gonna get it together.
Well, wait a minute. What was I talking about?
Yeah, you said that we don't stand on our word.
Yes, yes. And for me, that's because I'm the type of person, your word means everything to me, because that's how it is for me. So if I tell you something, I can stand on my word. Right. So to have somebody that, like, it can be something little, like just I'm gonna call you back. call me back. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just stand on your word. So to me, that's big for black men.
Is there
That's-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now I was gonna say we got somebody in chat. Shout out to Slater Mo. Slater Mo said, "Go up a little bit, your boy."
Look at us looking at
Yeah,
the
Slater
chat.
Mo said, "We all tens. We just have to stay in line with the path." And Kazi chimed in. What up, Kazi? Kazi said, "The boys are back. We all back."
Look at us with chats.
I'm telling you, man. You need to acknowledge these people.
I got a question though. What is there a common lack of standing on business situation that you've experienced with black men? Like I'm sure there's differences, but is there a common throughout your relationship something in particular that you think we have a problem standing on? Like we promised this, but like this ain't really what we.
Well, like for me, like I'm single, so like just dating in this time, like just that's how I'll cut somebody off real quick because it just be simple stuff. Oh, yeah, we'll go out to eat, but like for me, I feel like younger than me because I'm 47, but younger than me, I feel like they're more on. They'll say, dating, but their definition of dating is like come to their house, Yeah, so that's I don't know. But I just feel like nobody really stands on. Well, not nobody, but some of the men that I've come in contact with just don't stand on their word.
You want to be an old lady so bad. I swear to God. I would have thought she was 62 the way she talk about her age. She's talking about 47. She's still young.
She had came in that romper.
You know what?
She wouldn't have been that young.
I think though to touch on what she's saying, from what I've seen and experienced, I think or women are like black women, we're demanding, right? And I think a lot of times it forces our men to have big promises, right? I'm going to use the word flamboyant for lack of a better word. Or men are flamboyant with their offerings and their promises. And ego is such a huge thing. I think more often than not, from what I've experienced, it's not a case where they don't want to stand on their word. There's just so much ego attached that they just can't come down to say, hey, I'm not going to be able to do what I said.
I never thought of that's dope. I never thought about it like that, but I think
that's getting a different perspective.
Yeah,
to it.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people. I'm pretty good at like kind of stepping away from myself and the situation and analyzing, and I'm pretty gracious. I'll give grace a lot. So when I look at the situation and I look at, okay, this might be embarrassing or this might have the person feel some type of way to say, I wasn't able to follow through on what I said. I kind of broach the conversation or just give him grace by saying, it's fine, right? Or it's not fine. I would have preferred X, Y, Z, but I get it. You feel me?
Is it the fear of the response we'll get from failure or the fear of looking like a failure?
I think it's very popular in society for us to treat men like less of men if they're not, like less than a man if they're not able to do what we expect and what they offer or what they say they'll do. We're very big on beating up our men. When they say, okay, so just like, for example, he'll say, I'm going to cover your rent. Yeah. And we all have shit going on in our life, right? And let's say something financial happens in his life and he's not able to cover the rent. It's very big to step down from your pedestal to look at your person and say, hey, I didn't come up with the money, so you may have to figure out something else. That's huge, right?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you why I agree with that. I just personally, being transparent, if you know me, like one of my goals has always been to be a husband. Like I'm a relationship guy. I haven't been in one in a very long time, but one of my own personal goals is to be a husband, right? And when people always ask me what kind of husband you want to be, I have all these lofty things, like even beyond maybe the woman that I'm talking to. You don't need all that to be a husband, but for me, I do. And some of that is based around fear. I am afraid, like I admire men who have families on a budget. I couldn't, the pressure of being able to tell or having to tell my wife and kids I can't do something, it's terrifying.
100%. Even if the grace is there, it's still terrifying. Madam Chrissy says she agrees. But that's when communication comes in and knowing your partner.
Agreed.
And somebody said 47 looking good, looking like 27 on God.
Thank you.
Trina Wynn says, honestly, I guess you meant honesty. Honesty is very important. If you don't feel that with your partner, your person, move on right away.
We need to pick out the good ones. We can't give them folks all our podcasts.
We give them a little something, man.
Man.
Well,
But, yeah, go ahead.
like for me, I feel like, and I get what you're saying, but I'm not that girl. Like I'm someone that I know how to get it from the mud, right? So I don't put no extra. I'm talking about like simple stuff, and grace. I've given so much grace. Like at this point in my life, I'm just like I don't.
Grace? You done with
No,
it?
it's not that. It's not that because I definitely give grace, but I just want simple stuff. Like it's just like say do
Like, give
what
an
you say you're
example.
gonna do.
Give an example.
Like, hey, I'm gonna call you back. Like even something as simple as that. Stand on your word. If you can't do, like to me, that's simple stuff. If you can't do that, it's not about like rent. I don't need nobody to pay my rent. I pay my own rent. You know what I mean? We not doing all that until.
Okay, so I have a question, right? Let's say you're getting to know somebody, right? And they say they'll call you back, and whatever is happening in their life, and they don't feel like calling you back. What way would it be okay for a man who's interested in you to call you and say, or text you, say, I don't feel like talking to you right now?
How? What you mean?
What would be an appropriate way to say to you, I do not feel like talking. I'm interested in you, but I don't feel like talking to you.
You don't have to say it exactly like that. Just saying.
That's why I'm asking what would be the way, because
So,
I don't know how I would communicate that, or even want a man to communicate that to me. I'd feel some type of way. I'd block
say-
you.
So you could say something like, well, something came up, I'll call you back tomorrow.
So lie. So you want him to lie?
No, I mean, it's
something
your
did-
delivery.
it's kinda not a lie. Something did come up.
He don't feel like talking. Like, I'm going through my emotional, and that may be something you don't want to share right at that moment. You know what I mean? But I can take that. Okay, cool. I'll talk to you tomorrow. No problem. But don't tell me you're gonna do something. And don't do it.
Okay.
Hey,
Stand on your word.
How long I get to call you back? Just curious. If I say, hey, I'm going to call you back,
It's
short
not a
red.
time frame. It's
Nah,
not
it's a time frame.
As long as that day. If you say I'm gonna call you back, that means call me back that day.
Okay.
All right, this is what I think too, though. I think far too often with relationships, we don't start with new foundation, and we don't start with like a new project. A lot of times when men or women coming into each other's lives, we come in and we come into a project that's already kind of been started, right? And when we do one thing wrong in it, that whole project crumbles because it wasn't built on the right foundation from the beginning. So I think a lot of the times when we meet someone, just like you said, you've stood on business. I mean, you've like kind of gave all the grace you're gonna give. What they got to do with me when I come here? I deserve the same amount of grace you gave the dude that drug you for 20 years, right? Right?
You do?
But you gave so my thing is, if you gave somebody 20 years of grace and I don't get 5 minutes of grace, I might be the man that really want to be here for you, right? But I don't even have room to make simple mistakes that this guy made over and over again that kind of drug you through the mud. So I think a big thing that we have to start doing is that giving people a clean slate. That's my biggest thing. Is like I'm fine with meeting a woman who has traumas, and you tell me your traumas. I understand those, but I didn't put that on you. Understand that too. I'm going to work with you through them, but understand I didn't cause those traumas too. Because a lot of times you'll get treated like you are the reason they have those traumas, and we have to be like super aware of that when we like dealing with people in relationships.
And you don't have to give me grace. Just don't be mad when you see me with a white woman named Grace. And so like I can go find Grace. She's somewhere out here. And then I'm gonna let you guys know what I think one of our failures is. But to respond to you really quickly before I leave, you said sometimes change can happen quickly. How much is change based around the person you are changing for?
I think it matters a lot. I think how much grace the person you're dealing with gives you. Because the thing about it though is like, if you're a man who's not used to being treated nicely, right? Somebody treating you nicely may be the trigger to you wanting to change something. You feel me? Or somebody giving you grace that you didn't get before. Like for instance, if I talked to you this week and I didn't call you back, right? And you flipped and you blocked me, right? So I go to Marianne next week and I don't call her back and she say, I understand that things happen. You feel me? It's okay. You feel me? It's a different reaction. So now I'm motivated to not let her down. It's the same way like with parenting, a lot of us grew up in households where we got beatings, right? And that was the motivation for us to straighten up and act right, right?
Right.
And as I got older, I learned a new method of parenting, right? It's just like instead of beating my child, I'll be so great to my child and create such a high level of respect to where disappointing me hurts worse than the ass whooping.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So I think sometimes getting grace and being treated properly or treated a certain way in your times of like making mistakes can a lot of times make you want to fix it.
And even though it's not your responsibility, though, can you imagine a world where that makes prior partners feel lesser? When they see you behaving and promoting a new brand of successful behaviors and relationships and standards that you're establishing, can that make a woman feel lesser? Like, why wasn't I good enough for the change?
100%. But that's why I always communicate, even when I'm communicating with previous partners and let's say I'm apologizing.
Right. Now you don't owe them nothing.
I don't, but I always make people understand that like it's me, not you. Because a lot of the times it's just things that I didn't work on, because that's why the dynamic didn't work, is because I needed work over here, but I was looking for you to be a certain way over here. But if I would have fixed this, then maybe you wouldn't have been that way.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I think that it's usually when something goes left, it's always something you could look at it in yourself and a role you played in it.
Agreed.
So I was just like, that's why I just said like a few minutes ago is that I don't think I've had like a bad partner. You feel me? I think I've been a bad partner, and I think they had their faults too. But I think when those two things collide, when you're not working on yourself, and a lot of what happens is that I'm pointing to what you're doing wrong, you're pointing to what I'm doing wrong, and nobody's fixing anything because we're so focused on what the other person is doing wrong that we can't see where we're falling short. It's the same thing we got going on in the world. It's like, I'm worried about your grass not being cut. You worry about the next neighbor's grass not being cut and their children. And meanwhile, your shit ain't done because you tending to mine.
True.
If we all just cut our grass and handle our business, then we'd be good.
Agreed. Personally, I'll speak from a macro point of view. Something that I think, and I'm only speaking from this angle, I'm sure there's other things I can find, but I've been a contributor and a voice for this on our podcast and in my personal life. I had these conversations privately too, where I'd be sick of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be like, man, listen, them black women, boy, fuck that shit. I ain't, I'm out. But of course I'm joking, but there's some truth in a joke, right? Lack of patience. There's been a concerted effort to destroy black men and black women in this country, right? Now, the method might be different, but the result is the same, right? You can clearly see how black men have been torn down, and you can clearly see how black women have been torn down, right? And regardless of the results, I have to be aware that there's a reason why you are that way. It's not something that you signed up for. When you go back through the history of it, none of us were smart enough to know what the play was, what the government was doing. 100%. None of us saw it coming. We were just subjected to something, and now here's the group of people you had, right? And it is quite shameful that I've been willing to run out of patience with the group of women who are the most beautiful, special, talented group on the planet, right? And if I run out of patience, how can I ask for them to have patience for me or expect anybody else to have patience? I used to hear people promote online, like, protect black women, and I would get offended, like, who the fuck y'all need protected from? Like, that's how I would look at it. Like, man, y'all straight. Like, y'all the motherfuckers causing that's how I viewed it. But that is from a selfish, my experience type of thing, right? But when I hear myself talk about, just get outside of myself and hear myself say, I'm tired of y'all, I'm done with y'all, like, that is an attack. You know what I mean? Even if I have reasons to justify, like a racist man has a reason why he's racist. He has justified to himself why I hate black people. And you can't tell him that his reason is not, you feel me, is not correct. So even though I have a personal reason why I might feel the way I feel, my actions don't match my feelings. They're too radical for just my experiences on the 5 or 6 relationships that I've had to have such an overall harsh statement. I can express myself in a better way, or I can have more patience for the things that I feel like black women aren't offering me, and then see what role I play in it. So I think a lot of black men are losing patience. You know, like I said, I see the stuff online. I see a lot of athletes and successful men going over to other women. And although I do understand why, it's still gone too far at this point.
And I would like it to be a thing too, though. I think, and I think this happens with black men and black women. We go over to other sides and other cultures with a different attitude and a different approach and a different level of grace than we have with our own. And then we wonder why it's successful. Like, you'll have a black man whose mind is already preset that I'm sick of black women. And then you go over into a different community and date a different type of woman, and you're a whole different dude than you've ever been with any black woman. Same with black women in a lot of situations. I hear it with black women all the time. I'm gonna switch over. I'm tired of black men, X, Y, Z, A, B, C. And then you go over to that community with no attitude, no, with all the grace in the world, like, and so I think that's what that happens a lot of the time too. I'm not saying that that's every case, but right. I do think that happens a lot. It's just like, for instance, like when I grew up, when I went to my homeboy's house and spent the night, right? We acted like niggas at his house. You feel me? We made noise. We ate all the food and everything. But when I went to my little white homie's house, I had good table manners. I spoke a little more properly. You feel me? I was already programmed and wired to handle myself a certain type of way. You feel me? Right. And I think that's a part of the programming too. Is that sometimes I think just like we have inferior, we look at people like they're more superior than us in a lot of cases too. Yeah, but I think that's, and I can't speak for women, but I mean I think that's more like women getting black women getting a white man. There are a small group, and it's normally the black dudes who only date white women. They have put them on a pedestal. Like, you know them. I'm not talking, like, they are not urban, they are not niggas, they are not cool, they are not, like, I hate the ones who, what's the dude, you remember the North Carolina coach that was like, I love my wife is Hubert white. Davis. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, Hubert Davis. You know, but in general, a lot of niggas don't look at they're not looking at this white woman like a white, they have niggas going over there fucking with white women. They ain't doing nothing different. It's just a different level of treatment. Like, the times that I've dated white women, I didn't think I had nothing special. Like, oh, this white goddess. Like, I don't give a fuck about what your race is or your skin color. It was just the sheer treatment. But like, I think. But it still doesn't justify me being tired of for sure this because I've had a couple bad experiences. For sure, but I also still think that could be one of those things too. Because like I say, every experience that we have is a unique experience to us. Like, sometimes, like, you may go over there like that with that mindset, but I have seen niggas go over and perk up. You feel me? And I have seen black women go over and perk up. Right. You feel me? I've even seen women do that with the same race. It's not even necessarily a race thing. I've just seen women function a different way with a dude than they function with me. True. And I'm just like, damn, if I would have had that, if you was functioning like that with me, we would have been good. Yeah.
But I think that too, and I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I think too, and I don't mind giving grace if you're trying, but we do what we want to do for who we want to do it for. For sure.
Because there's going to be some women watching this podcast like right now, like, that nigga Bone wasn't nothing like that when I was, you feel me? Right. Like, what the fuck, like, who the fuck got him, like, you feel me, changing now? But it's like your experiences, you feel me? Your experiences. So I have seen motherfuckers perk up, like, whether it's a white woman or somebody that they felt like, because it happens with class too. Like, if a man gets a woman that he feels like is out of his league, he functions a little differently than he does with somebody who he felt he had easier access to. True.
I just don't want to make that the main.
That's not the main. I'm just saying that is a thing.
Because that belittles the fact that other cultures do function better in relationships than we do. There are cultures who function more in the gender role aspect than black people do.
There's no argument there.
Okay, yeah.
There's no argument.
I'm not arguing with you, but you know.
Yeah, I'm saying that there's no argument there. I don't think many people can argue with that. Just like when we say that black people are the coolest, like we the dopest culture on the planet. There's no argument there. Right. You feel me? But we don't do everything the best. And one thing that we don't do well is relationships. But like you say, it's almost like set up that way. Yes, it is. You feel me? It's like set up that way. So it's just like when the chips fall how they fall, you can't expect anything different. Yeah, it's almost like parenting your child a certain way and expecting them to fucking be the president. It's just like, it's not gonna happen, bro. You didn't install that in them. You feel me? So it's just like, but these type of conversations like help that, you feel me? And it puts a Band-Aid on that and kind of remedies that, but they have to be conversations that are in light of like fixing and not complaining And like you say, like having a podcast where like, bro, that's a big thing with me too, though, is just like, even problem solving in relationships. If you come to me with a problem, that's not my time to address my problem or bring up a problem I have too. We ain't gonna get nothing fixed. Right. I got a bite. I got the same face you had when you was just like, you feel me? It's just like, all right, go ahead, say what you got to say, and I just got to eat that. You feel me? I might come back a couple days with my shit, but it's not. But it's not that time. So I think we have to have more conversations to where, and I think a big thing in our community that has to happen is that. Men have to correct men and women have to correct women.
Yes.
And we also have to
do the thing. Yes.
Yeah. Like it takes a man to correct a man and a woman to correct a woman, right? So with that being said, it's like and we have to listen to what we want, right? Women have to listen to what men want because they're too busy telling us what we are and what we want. And same with men, we have to do like so. I think we just have to listen to each other, hear each other, and actually because it ain't gonna make sense a lot of the time because we're wired different. Right. So when the woman is like telling you what she wants, a lot of that shit ain't gonna make sense to you. And when you telling the woman what you want, a lot of it ain't gonna make sense to her. We just have to understand that we don't understand each other. You feel me? And then get to a space to where we can kind of function even without having to understand.
Yeah. How do y'all feel? My last thing that I feel like, and I want more of y'all opinion on this, stability. And what I mean by stability is I don't meet a lot of black men with a plan. You know? We talk about leadership all the time, but that was funny.
Well, I go ahead.
We talk about leadership all the time, but when I meet a lot of black men, we don't really know what we're doing. Like you working a career to get to a career, or you about to start something, or you about to do something, or you still, you know, you half rap or half this, or you know what I'm saying? Like you like it's just always this kind of I'm either fluctuating in between jobs or I'm about to do something, and I can see how that wouldn't sit well with a woman. Like, I don't know how y'all feel about that, so I'm curious to know, but I just feel like as men, we're not stable, whether it's career-wise, goal-wise, or spiritual-wise. Like, 1 minute we'll preach the gospel to you, and the next minute we'll pull up with all the fuck you nigga music under the sun, and it's not spiritually aligned. You see what I'm saying? So how do we even, I don't feel like we got our households well, so that's what I mean as far as stability, not necessarily money, but just mindset, spirituality, and being able to convey these qualities to our woman so we can be on one accord. Agreed? Disagreed?
And I got to take on that when they finish too.
Okay.
You want to go? Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know about any other woman, but stability is big for me. Stability and security are big for me, and I'm not even talking about like from a financial standpoint. But the way I look at it is, and I don't know about the men y'all have been with, but from my experience, I find that men tend to be mentally chaotic, and you will see it in their actions, right? And I think a part of being in a relationship with somebody is you have to figure out how to enhance your partner and both of your human experience. Just like I'm pretty certain you would expect your partner to also enhance your human experience, right? So in my relationship, I try to provide structure because I already know that more often than not, men don't have structure. And I find that that's the way it works better, where you want him to provide stability, so you create a situation where you allow him to provide this stability by making it, I don't want to say easier, but you do make it easier and more feasible.
So are you taking I guess what I'm pulling from what you're saying is, are you taking, like, let's say you have a conversation with your man, he says, I want to do A, B, and C, right? Mm-hmm. These are his goals, these are his plans. Are you saying, okay, this is what you want to do, this is how we're going to do it? Is that what are you structuring to make sure he stays online with his plan, or?
All right, so I'm a notes girl. I'm an iPhone notes girl, right? So more often than not in my relationship, so I will listen to what his goals are and what we're trying to accomplish as a unit, right? And we make the plan together as to how we're going to get to this goal, right? The structure comes in making sure that we kind of stay on target. So I create a note, right, like a checklist, and we go through the checklist, and I kind of stay on him and stay on me to make sure we're actually like ticking things off of this checklist.
Yeah.
So that we stay stable or as stable as possible.
I got you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You?
I feel like historically and traditionally, black men hadn't had structure in a long time. I can remember my granddaddy like coming home, giving his check to my mama, and he go watch TV. You feel me? His yeah, that's what it was, and it's the same thing with my dad.
I don't know if you could do that today, but I'd be sweating bullets.
You would, right? You would. But I think that is super, super important too, though, right? To when you're choosing a man, understand how much you could take and how much chaos you can stand. Mm-hmm. Because once you choose them, you have to allow that chaos to lead you, or it's going to be more chaos. Right. So if you have a man that you're interested in and the chaos seems like it's too much, then don't choose that man, because that's your accountability. You can't choose something and then complain about it when you know what you chose. You feel me? But I think black men, we lack structure in general, because a lot of us come from single parent homes. A lot of us weren't taught any structure, and we're trying to figure it out. And I think a lot of us get in relationships for structure, because black women are so used to doing everything on their own now, and they're so used to. And if you notice, like when black women go on vacation, it'll be 8 of them. All of them got $40, and they have the time of their life. Mm-hmm. You and your homeboy take 10 bands on the vacation and still don't have a good time. You feel me? And come back broke with nothing. They come back with souvenirs, outfits, and all kinds of, and you don't know how they did it. Right. It's just because they've been put in position where they have to be hyper independent, which creates a space to where you have to have structure. So when you meet, and we just we know how to go out and get it, but we don't really know how to keep it. Yeah. So I think that's why a lot of us get into relationships for that structure. And a lot of us that's why black men live longer in relationships than they do out of them. You feel me? Because you have some type of accountability. You have some type of structure. Even if you buck it most of the time, it's still there in some form or fashion. We be hanging out and drinking or doing whatever, and you like, man, let me get my ass home. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Yeah. That's a part of the structure. You feel me? But without that, we just out here just kind of wilding, because culturally we don't really believe in structure. It's not a big thing. It's not a big deal for us.
Girl, you are famous, ain't you? You are. Is somebody calling you back? I don't know. Like, you know how she said, I got a problem with it. Maybe she'd have told this man, you need to call me back. And that nigga like, hey, please pick up.
Stop it. But I feel like it should be a balance. So you said provide stability. It should be a balance. Where you fall short, your partner should be strong in that area, and vice versa. Sure. So you said we're 2 are better than 1, you know, so if one fall, the other one can lift each other up. I think it's a balance to that. So yes, where they lack, I feel like we should be able to live that way. It's we together.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
can a black man move in your house?
No.
That's one weekend.
No.
I don't have no place to stay. But
you got your PlayStation,
right? Exactly, though.
And some clothes.
No, but see, you have to be mindful of what you know what I mean. Like what kind of, at least be on the same level as me.
So let me ask you. So let's just say now I'm drifting, right? Let's just say there's a gentleman who works a job, right? So he has no problem getting up, going to work every day. He has some savings, not nothing crazy, but he ain't just flat broke. He can take you on dates. He does all the man stuff. And here you are paying the bills for yourself, living your own single life, right? And y'all hit it off. And he says, let me move in with you. But he'll pick up the bills from there. He can't do that?
No.
Why not? I'm just curious. If you have a home and I'm saying like, hey, all right, I'm going to come in there, but I got the rent or the mortgage, whatever it is, what's the difference? I'm just curious.
Well, because I don't want anyone to move in my space. We can move somewhere together. If we're building, we can move in somewhere together. But no, you're not going to move in my space. But we'll have to get to that level. And I don't want to date anyone that don't at least have what I have. A place to stay, a car, a decent job. At least have that. Bring to the table, same thing.
You eliminated a lot of potential dates, though. Yeah, it's a lot of.
And I think in my opinion, I think a large part of the problem in relationships and even dating is that we put so much what's the word I'm looking for? We put so much on like what we think something is, and when it doesn't mean anything, right? Mm-hmm. Like we put so much on having like having it together, when having it together ain't necessarily having it together. If that makes sense, right? Like a woman to say, if you don't have what I have, when what you have means nothing to me.
Right.
You feel me? Like you having a house, you having a car, you having a good job, you being in, that means nothing to us.
Add degree to that. Next
Yeah,
time
that
I go
degree.
on a date and the bitch tell me what her degree is, I swear I'm leaving. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and it don't and none of that matters. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier when I said that it's important for men to tell women what we want and what's important to us, and for women to listen. Because for the longest, we've told y'all a bunch of shit that we don't care about, and y'all keep pushing that on us as something of value. Just like if a man came to you, right, and he like, I got this, and he naming a whole bunch of shit that don't mean nothing to you. I got some dresses, I got some heels. You feel me? I got some circuits. You feel me? I got snacks.
That's a
I
good
got
analogy,
you
yeah.
like, bro, I don't eat none of that.
Yeah.
And he like, but I got it all. You feel me?
Yeah.
I got $1 million worth of shit that you don't eat.
Right.
I got $1 million stuff worth of shit you don't need. You feel me? We making hot dogs. You feel me? And I got a bunch of taco ingredients.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I'm bringing them, and I'm like, this is what I got. And I see it as valuable, but it means nothing to you on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build. So I think that that's where the older generation had it right. They didn't care who moved in with who. They didn't care who had what. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
It was how we complimented each other outside of the material shit. I think that in this life, bro, we live a life to where we wake up every day and we add a whole bunch of extra shit, right? You wake up with no burdens, right? You might make a check that's $300, right?
Yeah.
And all your bills might be $15, right? And you'll find a way to max that $300 out to make it hard on yourself. You feel me? When you were comfortable far before you had any of this extra shit. Now you wake out, you got the car you want, you got the house you feel me? And you didn't need none of that shit.
Right.
Now you fighting to get right back to how comfortable you were when you had the $300 on the $15 rent.
been there.
So we do that in relationships, bro. We get in relationships and we start dealing with a person, and we start putting value and adding extra shit that don't matter to the relationship.
Look, every time I get a raise, I get a new car.
I guarantee
that
you,
raise don't benefit me none.
I guarantee you, bro, if you stripped away all the shit that we think is valuable and left two people alone, bro, a lot of people would be in different relationships.
I agree. Just that just my pet peeve. Don't tell me about your degree no more. Bitch, you think that I care that you got a bachelor's in science, but you suck dick like you got wooden teeth? Bitch. Like, who gives a fuck? That's just my thing. You got this 18, 17 fucking head. You like this shit George Washington used to like. Bitch, I don't. That's all I'm saying.
It's the same. It's the same as a woman meeting a 5'2" nigga with everything they like.
I agree.
And you want a 6'1" nigga. It's like it don't matter what you got, bro. You ain't what I want.
Tell me
so
about your degree.
yeah, so
I'm sorry.
I'll take a 5'2". Dude.
look at that. With a sound effect. She gonna hate him.
Well, come on then.
Yeah, exactly. He
But he not moving
he
in.
gonna live a life of hell.
I don't get that moving in thing. I really don't. I don't know if maybe it's because I'm a Caribbean person.
Okay.
But like, all right, so you have your house that you're paying, say, a mortgage for, or that you've paid off. Yeah, let's say you have a house that you've paid off, right? And you meet a man that has everything together, but he's still leasing. He's more than able to afford his lease. He's affording his life and then some, right? And y'all have been going together for a while, and you decide that, okay, you guys both want to live together. Are you now saying that you're going to move out of the house that you've paid for or that you own to go and lease something together or buy something together and
No.
start over?
No, if that's what makes sense in our relationship, I'm cool with that. But I'm saying just off top, somebody I'm just dating them for, like, if we've been dating for a while and going together and being exclusive, and we get to that point, oh yeah, we'll figure it
Now,
out.
6 months, my lease up, I ain't renewing it, but I've been down at the water company for 10 years, and you got a spot, so.
And we rocking like that.
Right.
You like me.
For real. And I can't mess up my PlayStation, my creative player. I got to keep them going. And I need to move in with you.
And that Wi-Fi steaming over there.
Facts.
Not the need.
What you mean? I got the rent.
Not the need to move in. Now, if it's something that we talk about and come, I mean, I might be, but just
Or even if you guys have like say you're still leasing. You're leasing your apartment, he's leasing his apartment. Y'all have goals, and it just makes more sense to have
if
one
we rocking
lease
like
versus
that,
two.
cool. I'm okay with that. If we
Well,
rocking like that,
you
but
know
we
what?
have to be rocking like that.
You
we
know
have
what's
to
crazy about this though?
get
As
to
a woman to have her place and you'll have your place, and you can't stay nowhere but her place. And anytime you're not at her place and you at your place, it's a problem. Why ain't we just
But
living
if I
together?
lose my place, I can't come in there.
I can't come in there. Right.
No, I want to come to your place now because I do like to leave from
I
my
ain't got
like
nothing but a
we can
beanbag
go.
and
How about because
We
we
can
are
take
together
time.
and we building, and it's like, okay, cool, like we paying 2 rents for nothing. That extra money we can say, just come live with me.
I'm cool with that.
Come live with me.
Yeah.
Don't let your place go.
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Because Grace gonna let me move in on the third day.
You know what?
Boy,
That's between you
100%
and
for
Grace.
For real, I got my creative player. Hey, but let's have some fun. Let's take it off a serious topic. This is a game, so it's meant to put you in a bind, but it's also meant for you to kind of think about your decision. It does have real life consequences, but it's just fun. Whatever you pick is what you pick, right? It ain't really that serious. But I do want to know what you picked and why you picked it, right? Mm-hmm. So tell us a detailed version of why you picked it. It's called Would You Rather, okay? I want to know, would you rather raise a child who will grow up to be greatly successful, but because you raised them with tough love, now they're very successful, but feels like their parent doesn't love them and they really want not too much to do with you? I'm not saying it's a dead situation, but he feels that you don't love him the way you're supposed to. You gave him tough love, and now he's out in the world being greatly successful, right? Or would you want a child who you raised and he will spend majority of his life below middle class, but thinks you're the greatest thing in the world? You're the most loving parent he could ever ask for. Which of the two would you rather? Greatly successful son that feels like you don't love him because you pushed him too hard, or a son that loves you unconditionally? You're the sun and the moon to him, but he'll spend his life under middle class.
Give me the tough love. It's okay. It's okay if he hates me. Like, I'm very big on trying to set things up for generational wealth. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to sacrifice myself and how I'm perceived by my kid for the betterment of our bloodline and for his own happiness.
But now think about these questions in a full realm, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, he will be successful, right? Mm-hmm. But the trauma of feeling like your parent does not love you will lead to failures in other areas of his life, whether it's his dating history, whether it's his ability to communicate with the woman, or even raise his family. So he might grow up to be either a shitty parent or just not a parent at all, because you see people who say, I don't want to have kids because their parent wasn't up. Yeah. So I'm just wanting you to think about it in a full 360. And if that's your choice, that's your choice.
That's fine. Like,
I
feel like I think as a parent, we're going to fuck some things up, right? Mm-hmm. I would rather fuck shit up and they're able to at least be comfortable living, right? Than for me to fuck shit up and they treat me like I'm the moon and the stars, but they're still scraping to get by. I don't know about nobody else, but I think scraping to simply live an average life is the worst shit ever.
Okay. What y'all think, chat? Also put in the chat which one you would do, which one you would rather. We'll check some of those out too. But what you got, Bone?
I'm big on legacy, bro, and I think that I'm big on sacrifice as well. And in legacy, usually the first generation is the generation that has the one that breaks the cycle, has to sacrifice something, and a lot of times that's going to be the relationship with your child, right? But what you do is you also you kind of secure the legacy for your child moving forward, and you put them in position to where they could be. Because I tell my kids all the time, like, I'm tough on you, right? Because I want to leave you in a position to be able to handle generational wealth and create it. And when you have your own children, you don't have to sacrifice time for money. You can spend that time with your children, right? And my ego is not in a space to where I need to feel love. I need to know I did the right thing, because I'm from a generation of like losers. You feel me? Like nobody won. So it's just like, because nobody wants to sacrifice anything. You feel me? So it's just like I already had it in my mind that I was going to be the one to sacrifice my relationship with my kids if that's what I had to do for them to be successful, so they wouldn't have to sacrifice their relationship with theirs, because it's a cycle. You feel me? If you look back, it's like my dad didn't have a relationship with his dad because his dad was scraping and scratching. I didn't have really one with my kids because I'm scraping and scratching. Right. You feel me? And if they're scraping and scratching, they're not going to have one with theirs either, because I always say that you have to choose a resentment, right? I think that your children are going to resent you in some form or fashion, one way or another.
What you got there?
Oh, okay.
You want to step out and take it? Feel free to, absolutely. I don't think we can pause like we do on the other ones. What's that now?
There's room over there.
Oh, yeah. Let me slide up and let you out.
It's okay. It's cool.
Can you get get out?
Yep.
All right, go ahead. You?
Yeah. What I was saying that I'm
Scraping and scratching.
Yeah.
No, I went past that and I said that what was I saying? I know I was talking about sacrifice and saying that you got to choose your resentment.
Yeah.
You either gonna resent me because you had everything but you didn't have the time you needed, or you're gonna resent me because you had the time you needed but you didn't have everything else. Right. But if I'm sacrificing a relationship for my child to create generational wealth, now my child has the time and the money. And he can pour into his children, so his children don't have to work as hard.
Sure.
You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm definitely willing to sacrifice.
Now I do have a bit of an advantage because I'm making the questions. I'm also gonna next week or whenever I want either the guest or you to come up with a would you rather, so I can kind of be on the defense when I get asked the question. But I've had time to think it out, and I would choose the love and below. And listen, I'm a money guy too. Like we had another would you rather, and it was like, would you rather live off the land, like you and your spouse would be completely happy, like you're not, you are poor financially, but you have everything you need, right? And the other option was that you would be wealthy beyond your imagination, but no friends, no family. And I chose the money, so that just lets you know, like,
and it's funny on the flip, I would choose the land,
right?
But you hear me say about sacrifice, but on the flip, I said I choose the land.
The reason why I would choose the latter is because I understand how lack of love could go on far beyond your lifespan, right? If you don't love somebody properly, man, they can pass that down as far as you can imagine. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to not love my child and see them go on to not love their child and to not experience. So yeah, you might, because there are a lot of rich people that we all know that are not happy. But they got people who can buy anything that you can imagine, and they miserable somewhere, right? And you see people that don't have much of nothing, especially as black people. We know people that don't have much of nothing, but they seem to be happy as hell. You know what I mean? So I would rather give my child that kind of love. At first I was gonna say the money aspect, because I feel like the second one is a bit selfish. Like, I want them to view me a certain kind of way. That's more about me than the child.
For sure.
So in that aspect, that's why I was leaning towards the money situation. But I would honestly take the other one. So maybe my grandson will be the one that breaks the financial barrier. You get what I'm saying? But if I break this love barrier right here, there's no telling how long this would go. So from that aspect, I would choose the second.
And another reason why I chose the financial aspect of it is that I think that in our culture, we have a history of overcorrecting, right? Like, I'm somebody who's super anti-violent because I've watched every man my mom ever been with beat her, right?
Right.
So I think we're that way with love too. Like, I've watched parents overcorrect and love their children, and everything is first because their parents didn't put them first.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So I would much rather that overcorrection. I would pray that overcorrection happens and you have a whole lot of fucking money that buys you time to overcorrect. Right. You feel me? And now we have a family that knows how to love based on you, not me, because somebody has to start the love at some point. You feel me?
I like to...
Ms. Belinda, thank you for stopping by. Absolutely. No, it's okay. I hope everything's okay.
Thank you.
All right. See, that's what we get going live. We have, before we could cut that, that kind of stuff. But yeah, she does have a family emergency, so we do hope everything's okay. But yeah, continue. You were saying.
Trina Wynn says that, yes, lack of love, but having everything is not good. So they agree with you. She agrees with you.
That's a smart move. Who said that?
Trina Wynn.
Oh, Trina Wynn, I fuck with you. Agree with me all the time. On all the topics.
Madam Chrissy says she agrees with needles.
What I was going to say just now, though, is how many times has your parent done something and as a child or a teen or even young adult, you feel hurt about it and you're upset and you don't see the benefit. But now, as a more seasoned, mature, experienced adult, you value the sacrifice.
A bunch. All pretty much everything they try to teach me. I see now.
So I would like to hope that, okay, even though my child doesn't feel as loved as they need to feel, I would have instilled some values in them, and they would have enough comprehension and common sense, so that when they've garnered enough experience and maturity, they can look back and realize that those sacrifices were the highest form of love that could possibly be given.
No, absolutely.
You know what's
So
crazy?
I'm gonna stick with my answer.
You know what's crazy as well, though, right? Is that I think in a world where like there's an abundance of something, you don't realize it's an abundance. Just like rich people wake up in money every day and they don't realize they're rich after a while. After a while of doing that,
Correct.
I think the same thing happens with the financial side of it, but it happens with the love side too. You can wake up and be loved properly every day, and if that's something you're used to and you know nothing else, you sometimes will neglect that as well. You feel me? Like you've watched children who have over loving parents, right?
Yes.
And it's just like they just want space from that.
Sure.
You feel what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's just like, and it's I think to both of y'all point, I think that you don't understand or appreciate either until you reach a certain level of maturity. You feel me? So I think even when we become adults, I understood how much my mom loved me, and I understood how much my mom was trying to discipline me and what she was trying to leave for me.
Right.
But I think my dad told me before he died, you won't understand what it's like to be a man until you're a man and have kids of your own.
Yeah, and that's very true.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it, none of the stuff that none of the seeds we're planting come into fruition until you're grown. Either way, both sides.
Yeah, I agree. And but I will say that I feel like even though if you underappreciate love, you always find your way back to it. Like I rejected a lot of things from my parents, but one thing, no matter how far we get or no matter how much I disagree with them, I can't reject the fact that they love me.
100%.
And that's the main thing that I've been able to pass to my daughter. Like if you see me and my daughter interact, it's something off a TV show, you know what I mean? But that's because my parents love me properly. And I rejected the shit out of it. I wanted to be a street nigga so bad. I rejected that because it was just like, we didn't have much at all. My dad was gone a lot, and it was given that it was from work. And my mother is old school country, so she didn't know nothing but hard love. Like it wasn't you get what I'm saying? And it took me to get older to understand that was love. You know what I mean? That's why I rejected it and pulled away from it. I felt like I was more accepted, running with my homies than I did at home. So that's where that came from.
And with my kids, I think my lack of that is what makes me I don't doubt my sons. I hug my sons like every time. You feel me? Like they little bitty boys all the time. And I make sure there's not a phone call that doesn't end with "I love you," and that's because we didn't use that in my house growing up. Like I can't recall the time when my mom said "I love you" when I was a child. She does now that she's starting to realize her mortality. You feel me? It's like, and I think we all mature in that. But there was never a birthday party. There was never never ate dinner at the table, none of that. So it's just like I was big on trying to install that in my children while still having a little bit of tough love, you feel me? And a lot of pushing towards financial stability. And I sacrificed a lot of my time with them to try to go get things and put stuff in play. Yeah. But the time that was spent was definitely you have to make the most of it.
Got you. So the moral of the story is y'all care about money more than love. But now the next one is, would you rather a partner that treats you perfectly? What I mean by that is everything you imagine as far as treatment your partner does to the T. Like they handle your sadness, they handle your happiness, they handle your needs as far as what you may need career-wise or support-wise or anything you throw their way. They even handle their disappointments in you perfectly. They treat you amazing, right? But they are very mediocre in bed. Mediocre at bed. Like on a good day, you might get mediocre on your anniversary. That's if she try hard or he try. Or would you want a partner who does not cheat on you, but they don't know how to treat you at all. Like when you respond to them emotionally, when you have a gripe, they don't understand where you're coming from. They never see your point of view. They feel like you're always whining or complaining. They don't clean up, make the bed. They don't do anything in a service manner. But boy, they fuck better than anything you've ever had in your life. So when it comes to pleasure, anything regarding pleasure, excuse me, regarding pleasure in you, they're at the top of the list, right? So anything pleasure related, they are at the top of the list. So anything that is physical, anything that is feeling of sexual nature or just whatever, you have never been treated like this. So which partner would you prefer? The one that treats you better as far as your needs, your feelings, emotions, and all the things when it comes to service, or the partner who services you in bed and they do nothing great outside of that?
That's an easy one. Give me the first partner that feels something and treats you better. And I say that because we ain't gonna be able to fuck forever, for one. You feel me? And like
you fuck for a long time now.
but it's gonna end at some point. And I think for me, like, sex is the first thing to get old, no matter how good it is.
All right, hold on.
It is.
All right.
That's why we cheat. You feel me?
Okay.
That's a big reason why niggas cheat.
Now it's starting to feel like the old podcast. Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, but that's the main reason why niggas cheat, because sex is the first thing to get old.
Right. So if it's already old out the gate, like listen to me. Yeah.
You're gonna be able to critique it, come back on and ask me more questions, right?
Yeah.
Nah, but and another thing too is that if I'm, especially my partner, I could deal with that from somebody that I don't fuck with like that, right? But if it's my partner, right, how I feel matters. And I've heard you say this before, right? When you talk about like you can't treat your partner a certain type of way, and you can't dog them out a certain type of way like you do the motherfucker at the Motel 6.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's because you feel something, and you got a different type of respect for them, and you see them in a different light, right? So my thing is like, when it comes to my partner and somebody I choose, if I don't feel a certain type of way, the sex ain't gonna hit anyway.
But do you know how many men have this woman and they cheat on her all the time? Because even though she handles the kids well, she treats me excellent, this sex in the bedroom is awful, brother. It is.
But there are some men who have women who are excellent in bed and they cheat on. We just cheat any fucking way. We cheat anyway. So let's not make that's not a determining factor. In the scenario,
you have to pick someone that you can ultimately be with for the long haul. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The sex you cannot fuck all the time, as in all the time in the day.
Right.
but and I'm not judging your answer because and
I'm gonna tell you why too though. Another thing is this, right, bro? It's like I just said that I would sacrifice my relationship with my kids for legacy, right? So I would sacrifice legacy for sex too. Yeah, so if I'm building something with somebody and I'm trying to build a legacy, bro, it's not about me at this point.
Yeah, but you might not have no kids to get no legacy too if that pussy
so trash. Yeah, I got them already. I got them already.
Right, listen, you can't come in the trash. Wait, you meant that
reverse, right? You'd sacrifice sex for legacy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I would sacrifice sex for legacy. Yes, for sure.
He said it the reverse.
Yeah, well, you know what I meant. Yeah, you know what I meant.
Man, you ain't gonna have no kids to get no legacy to if it's trash. But you don't want.
Well, you know how many niggas got babies with trash pussy.
You don't want a nut in a litter box. That is terrible.
Man, you know how many niggas did it. You know how many people have done it.
That's true though.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I've had some trash pussy that got 6 or 7 kids. I don't know who doing it, who keep doing it. You feel me? Because I ain't going back for the second time. And you went back 6 times, my boy. That's true. Like all of them your children.
Sex is subjective. What might be amazing for you might be terrible for somebody else.
I've had some terrible that's terrible to everybody.
Right. Right. And we're not saying it's subjective. We're saying if it's universally trash or if it's universally great.
Yeah. I had somebody with that universal USB cable for sure.
Oh my God.
Trash to everybody.
I've had some of that too. Be like, bro, man, you just shake his head.
Brother. I swear, I had one with a rubber broke and I didn't know it broke. That's how you know it's trash. Listen, look, I pulled out the spit on it and I said, "Oh, the rubber broke."
Trash.
Ridiculous.
Big trash.
Jesus Christ, boy.
Yeah, I thought it was the rubber dry.
Man, I've had some trash, boy. Man.
But okay, which one do you pick?
Mediocrity.
I don't believe y'all, brother.
That's a real answer, bro.
Let me tell you something, brother. 2 people with dreads fuck well. That's what I do know. There's no couple where both people got dreads and ain't some good fucking going on. So don't act like we just up here like sex. It's not that big of a deal. Y'all probably got together off a good fuck one night. Like, we should do this. That's what. Like, I think you cool and you tat, I'm tat. You start finding shit. Yeah, I know better. That's why it's funny. That's how we got. Like, I've been working on myself type shit. But yeah, but now all of a sudden it don't matter.
but in that same breath though. Yeah. There have been instances where it's like this shit is trash because the vibe is off.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't want no parts of it. I don't give a fuck how good it is.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want no parts of it. Y'all how good it is.
Y'all do oil with y'all dreads down, or you both put them up?
Man, have a seat, man.
I'm just curious. Do you put your dreads up before you go down? Is that something that you tie up? I don't have hair. I don't know. Do you tie him up before you do your turn?
No comment, man. This man, hell, man. This man gotta be stopped,
Just
man.
my curiosity.
Jesus
so
Christ,
you
this man gotta be stopped.
So you good treatment, and this person's, sex game is just not like you just like, oh my God, like you just doing it out of service to your man. Like it's like really not pleasurable for you just doing it because but he's a great man. And you cool with that.
Yeah.
And the guy with the great sex, like he ain't cheating on you. He ain't beating on you. He just don't really have much outside of that. Like it ain't.
I realize you keep saying not cheating, like that's supposed to be like an attractive thing.
Well, most women that be like, okay, I can deal as long as you don't fuck nobody else. Like most women can deal with a lot of stuff if you're not cheating. Yeah.
Nah, prefer you have everything together and cheat. Please cheat. Have everything together and cheat. Cheat. Please.
Well, here I go again.
I already know where you're coming from. But I already know how you wired though.
Right.
You wired like that, bro.
But I'm just saying though, like what if she don't understand where I'm coming from, but
boy,
she understand where I'm coming from. It's fine.
Listen, I knew you was coming from that space, but just like you call me on bullshit all the time, boy, that's bullshit. But listen to me, and I'm gonna tell you how I know it's bullshit, right? Bro, your patience is this thin.
Facts.
Your patience is this thin. So all it takes is for bro, if a motherfucker say something stupid and you can't get them to understand why it's stupid, you don't want to fuck no more.
My patience is very thin.
Yeah, you can only do that to somebody who's not your person.
But I promise you, the skin on my dick is much thinner. That I promise you. So although I might be very frustrated with my girl, I might be. I might be. Listen, I might be extremely frustrated with my girl. If she can take it up top every time, man, I deal with it. Brother, I'm okay with washing my own clothes and cooking my own food
that part is easy.
And doing the homework with the kids. Like,
that part is easy. But what I'm talking about like what you gave me an extreme. No ability to communicate.
Yeah, I know.
You feel me? No ability to do nothing but that. I know you had some maniacs before. I've seen them. You feel me? They're not here.
But that's because they didn't take their meds. It's hard.
No, they don't need the meds.
Yeah, well, mine needed the meds.
No, not with that extreme. They don't know nothing else. They gonna piss you off. Yeah. That's what happens when they don't take the meds. You can't deal with them.
That's a fact, though.
Yeah, so I know you tripping.
I don't think
Take
so.
it back, man.
No, I'm sticking with it. I'm going with it. I'm moving on to the next one. All right, this is the last one. Would you rather? Cool. Have difficulty walking or difficulty seeing? What I mean is, yes, you can walk theoretically. Like if you need to get up and get the remote, you can go get that, right? But the distance between your walking is very difficult, meaning it's painful, and distance is really not a thing, right? Walking is difficult. Or seeing. Can you see if something is this close to you? If you pick it up and look, yes, you can see. You're not completely blind or anything like that. But anything outside of maybe arm's length is extremely blurry. Glasses don't help. Nothing fixed. So difficulty walking or difficulty seeing.
Take the legs, give me the eyes.
Man, I can't live without being able to see.
Take the legs, leave me the eyes.
Okay, give me why.
Just give me a wheelchair. You feel me? I'm cool. It's just, bro, I think my biggest fear in life is going blind.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's the most helpless. That's the one sense you can't do nothing without it, bro. You feel me? Like take them fucking legs, bro. I don't need to walk nowhere. I just need to see. Yeah, give me a chair. They got chairs. I roll where I need to roll, and if I can get up just like enough to get the remote.
Yeah.
Boy, you ever seen them legs? You know what I'm talking about.
Stop doing them folk legs.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
The Fat Joes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Give me them and keep my eyes. Give me 20/20. Give me the Fat Joes and give me 20/20. I'm going to get by. He getting by. He's still making plenty of money. But if he was blind with good legs, ain't nothing shaking.
I can't argue with that, though. Them is some terrible legs.
Man, them the worst legs in the industry.
I don't even know how you get them legs.
I'll take some prosthetics over those legs. On everything I love. Give me the Lieutenant Dan's and keep them Fat Joes.
You'll take the special
Olympics over cut them bitches off.
Yeah, he do, though.
At the hip.
Worst, though.
Yeah, but them
hip.
At the hip, cut them at the hip. Don't even cut them at the knee. Man,
it's just one of his legs too. That be done.
That bit like this.
Yeah.
And the other one straight. Like I said, bro, how are you walking on these?
Cock Nine Joe's.
A squat will take him out.
No, he can't. Yeah, a squat, nothing. He'll never make it down. He got a 90-degree angle. He ain't squatting for nothing.
Man, boy,
No.
fuck that, bro. Give me the eyes.
What you got?
I need to see.
Okay.
I need to see. Yeah.
As if y'all don't need to walk.
Bro, I can tattoo in a wheelchair. I can't tattoo. Y'all gonna start seeing a whole lot of shit you can't walk to, and that's gonna fuck with you. You gonna see a whole lot of places but you
that you want to go.
But you got to
just
think
can't
though, I
get
was
there.
just handicapped like that for a year. I didn't walk for 8 months.
You get around.
No, I was in bed.
Right.
Like I couldn't even get the remote. I'm in bed, like leg in a sling, can't move.
You got here. You can get somewhere.
No, that was 8 months after, and I was still on crutches.
Oh,
Yeah.
That wasn't no 8 months after.
Yes, it was, bro.
Yeah.
I learned how to walk the 9th month.
This man
8th,
always
9th month.
This
Swear to
like-
God.
And then
Listen,
I think about
heard
learning something this age.
I hurt my leg in June, and I came back to the podcast. It was like October, November.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was barely out. My leg was still in the cast in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Well,
I
I've been
think about.
handicapped. I
I think
want that.
I think it'd be different. Maybe no, I wouldn't be. I was gonna say I think it would be different if, say it was something that happened when I was young, because you know, kids learn things quickly and easily.
Right.
So if you even lose your sight as a kid, you learn to get around. You learn Braille. You like. I can't imagine at this age having to learn all that.
Boy, if I knew it all, fuck that. I want my eyes. Braille?
That's the worst.
Come on, bro. You know how much trash pussy you'll be hitting for real then if you couldn't see? You're going to have to Ray Charles it.
Imagination,
But all you gonna have, but that's what I'm telling you though. Until you like get the, you feel me? You get the feeling.
Yeah.
Because them senses gonna be strong.
No, that's a fact. I'm gonna take the legs.
You gonna
too.
feel better than anybody.
I'm gonna take the legs too. I don't think I can love something I can't see.
Man, ain't no way. You gonna learn the real
That's how I
definition of
know.
love.
But that's
then,
how I
though.
know I'm gonna take the sex. I
Yeah.
can't love something I can't see. So that's fine. That's how. I don't think I could. I don't think being blind is rough. So to anybody out there, or if you know some, I know we all jokes aside, I say that far too often, but yeah, being blind, man, you are an amazing creature. If you out here with a smile on your face and you cannot see
what?
the courage,
For
that,
sure.
that is a
Listen, bro.
man.
My mom had a best friend that was blind, bro. And he used to just sit on the couch, bro, and listen to the TV, bro. When I get out of school, bro, I just be like, bro, ain't no fucking way. And then I had a homeboy, shout out to Dro. I had a homeboy named Dro, rapper, blind rapper. I ain't never, bro, this man gave me a whole new respect for like blind people, bro. Like this man got around on his own almost. This man would come in the studio, bro, and this is what let me know like it was possible to like be like to freestyle and actually be good, bro.
Right.
When I tell you this man was so fire, bro.
Not like he had a choice. He couldn't write his lyrics.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
We have a fire like Jamaican blind artist too, Niger boy, and like he's fire for real.
I'm not doing nothing if I'm blind. I'm not rapping. You think I want to hear some music if I'm blind? For what?
Christian Madam said, I want to see them bumps.
You talking about the Braille? Yeah, I'm not, man. Like I said, you're a brave creature if you're a blind person.
Man, that's tough, bro.
How much time we in? Does it say how much?
We at 8:59, so I think we at like an hour and 45 right now.
All right, cool. We'll go and wrap it up with the last topic though I want to discuss, and we'll get out the way. Caitlyn Clark. If you don't know who she is, Caitlyn Clark is a WNBA player. She plays for the Indiana Fever, I think's the name of the team. She's quite the phenomenon, I guess you should say. She came into the league last year in the WNBA, and it was quite a stir. You know, a lot of it is based around racism, sure. But she's the most popular player in the game. Her contemporary or her arch nemesis is a young lady named Angel Reese. They had their back and forths in college playing. Angel Reese is a black woman. So there's always that racial element of the great white hype and the talented great black woman, you know what I mean? Going back and forth, or black man in sports, you know? So there was an issue that happened last night. The WNBA is kicking off, or it might have been 2 nights ago. And Caitlyn Clark fouled Angel Reese pretty hard, right? I don't really want to talk about what the foul was. Was it a flagrant foul or not? I mean, this is not really a sports show. But there are two commentators who had very different takes on the situation. And I'm curious to know what you guys, whose side you're taking on, I guess, their opinion. So I created a video. I want you to watch both sides of it. What you're about to see is a gentleman named RG3 who played in the NFL for a couple years now. He's commentating on sports. And he had the opinion that Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark, right? Black girl hates the white woman, right? After he gave his take, there's another analyst named Ryan Clark who has a show called The Pivot. His take was that RG3 is so out of tune with black culture, of course he would have an opinion like that. And it's based around the fact that he only has dealings with white women. So I'll let you hear it firsthand. It's about 3 minutes total. And then I just want your opinion or whose side or if both people did something wrong, let me know what you think. See if we can drop the clip.
Nuclear. So after watching the play, I tweeted out.
We got a white woman in the background.
After watching Caitlyn Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath, there is no way Angel Reese can continue the lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlyn Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. The reason I said that is because when somebody that you don't like says something to you, you automatically always take it to the most extreme. You always automatically say, oh, they meant to harm me with that statement. But if your friend or somebody you're cool with made that very same statement, none of us would be so quick to run to judgment to say, oh, that was negative. We would question what it was. We would react differently. So why do I think Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark? It could be the fact that Aaliyah Boston had to save Angel Reese from ending her career. This is a still shot. After the foul that Caitlyn Clark put on Angel Reese tried to hit her. But if it wasn't for Aaliyah Boston putting her arms in the way, Angel Reese would not be playing basketball anymore because she was going to sucker punch Caitlyn Clark. Now, you tell me a time when you've seen somebody get fouled on a basketball court in a professional league where they tried to almost sucker punch somebody that they were friends with.
Being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlyn Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlyn Clark's heroic or hero story. Right. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlyn Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Caitlyn Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now, if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping.
I think first off, I feel sorry for Caitlyn Clark.
Yeah.
Because I think in all of this, there's nothing worse than being used as a symbol for something that you don't approve of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she is being used as a symbol for racism in a lot of spaces. Same way you see with like Donald Trump, he's just somebody that kind of embraces it.
Mm-hmm.
She's somebody that wants no part of it, right? So anything that she does is heightened or there's a magnifying glass on it.
Yes.
Same with Angel Reese. I feel sorry for her sometimes too because she can't have a human reaction without it being something different. With Ryan Clark and RG3, I think both of them are on the extreme side of something,
Yes.
right? And I think that RG3 makes some valid points, but because he's so extreme on his side, that a lot of it gets lost. Same thing with Ryan Clark, but because most black people can identify with what he's saying, they're not going to see how extreme he is on his side. Because who are you to say what this man discusses in his household because you don't know that? You're just assuming that because he's with white women, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it puts him in a space because he's with a white woman to where he can't have an opinion about anything black, right? And it be valid. Right, because I do think that Angel Reese has a hate for Caitlyn Clark, but I don't think it's Caitlyn Clark. I think she hates everything that she stands for and that she's the symbol that she's being used for. With it, yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Because that is almost like an attack on a black woman. Because everything that like Angel Reese Caitlyn Clark can do no wrong. You feel what I'm saying? When she does something, and it's just like it's just racism in America in general, right? Yeah. And she's just on the opposite side of that. So I just hate that, like for both women. That like Angel Reese is being used as a symbol for something and Caitlyn Clark is being used as a symbol for something and people don't know how to have a middle ground to where, because both of them made valid points, right? Mm-hmm. But they're extreme. And when you're an extremist to something, a lot of what you're saying gets lost in your extreme opinion. So at the end of the day, I just feel sorry for both women because they're being used as symbols that they didn't get. Because if this were two other players, if it was another white player and a black player, it wouldn't be a conversation.
Nothing.
Wouldn't be a conversation, mm-hmm. But it's because they are the symbols, right? We don't know what Asia Wilson did, right? Because he just said she's the best player in the league. You feel me? She's the face of the league. You feel me? I'm sure she's been fouled flagrantly, by another black player and another white player. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, her rookie
you feel
season,
what I'm saying? Yeah, and I've seen her act out like she want to get it in. Nobody's talking about it. Right. You feel me? And since college, these women have been like having to deal with this, and I think it's like so unfair to them because you can't really have a reaction. And Caitlyn Clark is kind of put in a position where she got to stay buttoned up 24/7. She can't even celebrate without it being racial. You feel me?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like I feel sorry for both girls in this situation.
We quite frequently ignore how powerful racism is, and when I say ignore it, we all know it exists, especially as black people. But this country was built on racism. And 99% of the things that we engage in are racist based too, from our music to our clothing. You know, you might not see it. It's not overt. It's not put out in your face. But in the world of sports, the NBA was built on racism.
100%.
You know, the Bird and Magic thing wasn't about, Lakers and Boston. It was black versus white.
And I'm glad you say that because those were the last two players that actually have that type of rivalry.
Yes.
Yeah, they were the last two players.
Right. But it what's the word? Catapult?
Catapult.
Right.
Yeah.
Your league to a place where, understand something too though, race is a real thing without it being racist. And what I mean by that is, when I'm watching TV and there's somebody that's about to succeed, I enjoy seeing somebody who looks like me succeed.
100%.
Right. If there are two boxers, and let's say I don't know either of the boxers, and I see a black guy and a white guy, I want the black dude to win.
You rooting for your, it's no different than rooting for your favorite team.
Right. This could be this black dude could be a bad person, this white dude could be a great dude, and I don't know either one of them. But if I just see the picture, then man, they put 100 on this nigga. You feel me?
100%.
He looks like me.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you cannot fault white people for liking to watch someone that looks like them.
Especially when it's rare that they see someone that's good that looks like them.
Facts. Right. Black women or black people, athletes, have been running a lot of these sports, right? And so understand that they tune in to watch these sports, but they don't have anything to identify with most times, right? Because white people aren't dominating a lot of these sports, right? That's why, like, you see teams, they tried to keep white quarterbacks as the face of the team for so long because I could sell that to the masses. White people are 70% of this country. If I have a business, I need to sell to the majority, correct? And that's why they kept white quarterbacks for so long. Cool. Because white people can identify with that, even if it was black people running all over the place, being the best athletes on the field. Now, if Caitlyn Clark was not good, I would understand it. She's good as fuck, bro.
She fine. She probably the second best player in the league.
Facts. Like, she's really good at what she does. And I had a negative stance on the way black women handled her. WNBA has always talked about lack of viewership, lack of money, not being paid like the men. So you need supply and demand. You need a demand for your sport. So if you need that demand, now don't be upset when the demand comes in, but it's not in the package you wanted it to come in. So that was one thing for me. But this is about Ryan Clark and RG3. They are both extremes. I couldn't agree with that more. RG3's take on she was about to sucker punch her and end her career, bro.
Yeah, calm down.
You see what I'm saying? What are you talking about?
That's the extreme that I ain't like.
They was gonna bump chests like they do in the NBA.
Right.
When somebody fouls you hard, you get up, and then all the teammates come home. Right. But he made it seem like if it wasn't for this girl putting her arm on her, this white woman would have been sucker punched.
Yeah, and there's a such thing as a healthy hate within sports.
Yeah.
Bird and Magic hated each other on the court, but they did not hate each other in real life, so
Facts.
you couldn't confuse that.
If Caitlyn and Angel saw each other out there, dap each other up. It ain't that
100%.
shit. But on the court, I do want to beat you. And whatever I use to want to beat, whether it's the fact that we look different, that's why jerseys are different colors.
Draymond and LeBron did this for years, not their business partners.
Facts.
I don't know anything about basketball, so I'll say that.
Okay.
But in the background, there's a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
That baby looks like a girl, right? So even if his household isn't discussing black women, that will be a conversation eventually because they have a black child.
And he ain't gonna know how to have it.
But the conversation will have to happen at some point.
But yes, it will. And we can't say he doesn't know because it is extreme to say we don't know. He clearly comes from a black mother. This nigga ain't mixed at all. You feel me? So he has strong black roots. He's not light skinned. He's not mixed. He's not none of that. So we don't know his experience outside or being with black women. Only thing we know is what he dates.
Right. And I think people parent differently than they feel like you. Everybody who had these mixed families, right? Most of the time when that white woman came home with that mixed baby, that granddaddy hated black people before that mixed baby got here.
Facts.
But he loves his black grandbaby. You feel me? And that'll kind of sway and change the way you handle things a lot of the times because like now it's a part of your family.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a team thing. If you rooting for the white, you rooting for the black player because he black and you identify with him, you kind of become a little neutral when both of them mix.
Right.
You feel me? You kind of don't really know who to choose. Now you got to investigate a little further to see who the better fighter before you put your money down.
No, that's facts.
Yeah, so I think I think that's the greatest thing that we have right now is mixed people and mixed babies. And I think 20 years from now, most of the population is going to be mixed. 20 to 50 years from now. Yeah. You feel
I actually
me?
think that's the only way that will like get rid of racism if we mix. And I mean,
so when I'm dating outside my race, I'm helping. Thank you. Put that in the chat. Hey, put that in. I've been helping this whole time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like I think a lot of times too, though, that black people will spite something that's helping them just because it doesn't look like the help they want. Like you say, like Caitlyn Clark is like helping the WNBA in such a fashion, and it's like you hate it. And it's just like, bro, if it looked like you, it wouldn't be as effective. You have to appreciate it, bro.
1,000%. White people will support the shit out of nigga if he got a Trump hat on. As long as they get their goal across,
right.
We'll accept him at least while he doing this. We don't really like him, but
right.
Is Ryan Clark out of line for taking a sports topic and mentioning a man's wife? Like, regardless of RG3's take, no matter how ridiculous it was a sports take. Ryan Clark took it to a personal take. Is he out of line for mentioning this man's wife?
But don't you think he also made it personal when he started talking about her hating the other player? That's personal.
It is, but in the context of the sport. He didn't mention anyone's children. He didn't mention anyone's family, mothers. He's talking about it within the confines of the sport.
I think personal is personal.
Yeah.
To me, I think personal is personal. you don't get to choose how personal somebody else gets once you get personal. Now, if he had based like all of his opinion on sports, right, and he didn't take it to how those women feel off the court, then I'd say fine. But once you get personal, you don't get to choose how personal somebody else gets.
Yeah. What I say though, I say he was out of bounds, and
especially when you have that white woman in the background.
Yeah. No, I feel like sometimes, like you almost changed my take with that last one, because I'm gonna address that too.
You think that was a symbol of what he was trying to say?
I think it's almost like this, right? Like when we, after this podcast, when we have this meeting, she's going to leave the room out of respect for us handling each other a certain way or speaking to each other in a certain fashion.
Right.
And I think when you address certain things, it's like certain people can't be present, or people are gonna take it the wrong way. Right? So that's why I say the first thing I said when I seen the clip was like, ain't he got a white woman in the background, right? But Ryan Clark is wrong, right? 1,000%. And I say that because he just had a spill with who was that? Aaron Rodgers, right?
Who did? Ryan Clark?
Yes,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they beefing. They don't like each other.
Rightfully so, right? Aaron Rodgers,
right? But he had, his take was Aaron Rodgers made it personal by mentioning something that had nothing to do with football. And you just did the same thing. That's why I say he's an extremist. And I think he speaks so well, and he knows how to choose his words. And sometimes people will get caught up in that, because if a nigga talk good, people think he's saying something. Right. You feel me? But you miss the point that he's an extremist. Right. You feel me? It's almost Malcolm X and whoever the symbol for white racism is. You feel me? It's like two extremes. You feel me? I'm so pro this that I don't see nothing else, and you're so pro this, you don't see nothing else. And I think that him mentioning that kind of, it devalues your take altogether. And it's just like, what I try to do is, when I'm giving a take, is not say anything that's going to discredit anything else I say attached to it. So it's like when both of them start talking, they were so extreme that like all their points got lost with me.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So, and I think Ryan Clark, when he brought in his wife, because that ain't got shit to do with nothing. For real. Because there was a way to even get around to that without even mentioning his wife. Right. You feel me? There was a way to do that without doing that, but that was just the easy route. He just went direct. Yeah. And I just think it was distasteful. And
that was a good point. It was a black woman in the room. We looked at a black child, but that is going to grow up to be a black female.
And I think it's distasteful to tear down a black woman while you have a white woman that you have on a high pedestal in the background. I think that is extremely distasteful. I think you could have said what you were saying without the white woman in the background.
Where is my white woman supposed to go?
No, because she has nothing to do with the conversation. Why is she in the video?
But if I was just talking about how many points they scored, she could sit back there.
I think context matters.
Right. No, it does. No,
it matters. And I just think if we're talking about sensitive things, right, it is necessary for you to be aware of the climate of things. Racism is a real thing in this country. Yeah. Black women are beat down a lot in this country. And I just think it is distasteful to beat down a black woman while your wife, who is white, right? And I think when you marry somebody, they're on the highest pedestal in your mind, or I'd hope they are, right? You have her in the background while you're beating the hell out of a black woman. Like, it's distasteful to me, as a black woman.
I think it's what you call covert, because it's like a thing to where like everybody sees it, but it's almost like when somebody does something racist to you, but they ain't call you a nigga, so you really don't know how to figure out how to prove it was racist. Right. You feel me?
Putting her in the video makes her fair game to me.
Right. But I have to see some more videos. Because if she just happened to be in that video, then I'm with y'all.
Because we do it all. We do it all the time with the president, right? Trump will say something that everybody perceives as racist. Like, that motherfucker racist as hell. And you say, well, what do you do racist? And you're like, bro, he did that.
You don't have no exact
words, but you felt it. Everybody feels it.
He had niggas in his eyes.
Right. So when he went on that rant, it was always like everybody put it in like, because this might be something he may not have been conscious of. Right. He just thinking my wife is back there. Right. But we see a white woman and we see him putting on.
Right. Now I agree, because he is white black. He ain't 100%. He ain't one of us,
and we know that. You feel me? And he tries to selectively be one of us. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
He asked for cornrows. That's how you know he ain't one of us. Like when he go get his, like, we get braids. He sit down and be like, "Do you do cornrows?" Like, nigga, the fuck?
What?
Yeah.
He one of them. Yeah. So yeah, and he's known for and it's like I don't really see many takes of him that dedicated and that like extreme on the opposite side.
Right.
it's always that one side. You feel me? And it's like the always that one dude that, you feel me? He gonna be that guy every time.
No, and that's him. Hey, before we go, because I know we're about to get out of here, this ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Anybody ever watch a movie and you see how they be out all day? Like, let's say it's like like two agents, like they two assassins or something, and then the guy, they meet the girl, and they have drinks and they go to like 3 or 4 different places, and then they get home and then like they supposed to separate, but then the lady be like, well, you don't want to come in, and then they just make out right there at the coat rack. And the pants come off and they fuck right there. Is anybody, like, am I the only one that feel like I can't do that? My balls be too sweaty. I can't go to, I don't know if that's how I go. You know what I'm saying? But if we go to 2 places though, my nuts, they done.
Do you care at that point?
Yes.
You think about
I'm
that?
not whipping that out. Imagine we be 2 assassins and you find out my nuts smell.
Boy,
That's wild as fuck though. I'm an assassin.
Boy, you done dropped them football, basketball nuts on somebody
Ask anybody.
before.
I wish all my exes was in the chat. I shower before sex every time. I don't care if it throw off the mood. I don't care. It's a phobia, brother.
Even if it's just a random.
I got to bathe.
You got to bathe that
I
thing.
got to bathe. I can't smell me. That's wild.
Yeah.
I just wonder though, dude, is that how because I'm sure that some couples, they do that whole sex scene thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about, like right at the door. Everybody seen a movie where they just like hit the door and it's just making out and he just whipped the pennies down.
Listen, bro,
there have
been so many times.
Damn, I could never do that.
So many times.
2 flights, 3 flights.
Listen, man.
Yeah, talking about planes?
Yeah.
Nah, if I get off a flight, them nuts is done.
Listen,
son.
man.
I don't know what it is about a flight.
As a young boy, especially.
You get off a plane and fuck?
Listen, as a young boy, especially, I done dropped that salt meat on several people, bro. I ain't gonna make you eat it though. I ain't gonna make you eat it.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I ain't gonna make you eat it.
You but you wild though. If
you
got off a plane and you went straight.
Well,
to
I done got
somebody,
off a basketball court and cleaned something up. You talking about a plane? That's you feel me? 6 game nuts.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
6 game nuts. You feel me?
How, brother?
Outside, summertime.
How?
A fucking creep. That's how. Don't give a damn.
I can't do it, man.
Yeah, as a grown man, I ain't gonna do that. But
I can't have that
Hey,
confidence. If
I
I
just
know
feel
them
like it
things
depends
right,
on how heightened stuff are. Like, I feel like if you want to fuck somebody bad enough,
You
that
can't
will
do it.
be the
Listen,
last thing on
but
your
what's
mind.
you know what's funny? You know what's
if
funny
you
though?
smell them balls through the boxes, that ain't the last thing.
You
on
know
your
what's
mind.
funny though? You know what's funny though
What?
is that I done dropped that salt meat off.
Yeah.
But boy, if you ain't right, I feel some type of way.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
Nah,
biased
better
now.
than both of
Yeah,
y'all jump
boy,
off
no.
the flight.
Because as soon as I smell it, I'm out of there. I can't. Mama die anyway.
But I feel like, I think it depends on each individual person's hygiene. Like, you know your level of hygiene and you know how much activity is gonna make you stink. Right, especially like as a woman.
Nah,
'Cause
this the most activity
I'm
you can
super,
have. Nah,
like
this-
self-conscious about stuff like that.
Nah, it ain't right.
If I walk to the
Yeah, it
mailbox,
ain't right.
if I walk to the mailbox, it's time.
Right.
You say what?
Redo
Nah,
too many
I
steps.
don't have that problem.
Got to redo them. I just always wondered, like every time I see that in the movie, I'm like, bro, I
Nah,
never get to
but
do
I
that.
will say, as a grown man, bro,
Never
if I'm
get to
sitting
do
there,
that.
because as a man, like you, I don't know how women can get away with sitting and not smelling themselves. Because I didn't like tattoo women, bro. Fish Factory, bro, and it's just like, bro, how do you not smell this?
Right.
And then I gotta lean down by your leg. You feel me? And it's just, you feel me?
But I think I don't think hygiene
like
is
me-
something that's properly discussed. I don't know about no other community but ours, right? And I tattoo as well, right?
Right.
And I tattoo amperes, and I've had incidents where persons will come for genital piercings and come filthy.
You done had to put a needle through some stank vagina? You was a bad mofo, brother. I would never.
That's crazy.
And the worst
I'll
thing
poke your
is,
thigh.
the worst thing is before you get the piercing, like you're given wipes and stuff to like clean up before. And when I enter the treatment room, the room is stink, you stink, like no cleaning up has happened. But I think there's a deeper issue where
Go full Jamaican. Buy my Clyde. You supposed to cut up.
nah, I think there's
Nah.
for real though. I think there's a deeper issue
What you
where
do upon their wives? Did you wipe yourself? Full Jamaican.
And they're known for having horrible customer service. You're supposed to be able to snap.
Bucking in that bitch.
Man, come on, man.
nah, I think there's a deeper issue though. For real.
We said I
And
know fish, yeah. My Jamaican accent is terrible, but I would
It's
be
better than
cut-
mine.
I would be cutting up in that bitch. But yeah,
nah, there's a no, and I don't know if the viewers agree with me, but I think there's a deeper issue where hygiene is not being addressed in our community. Like there'll be women whose stomach stink men for months, years, and don't touch on it. I promise you.
Oh, they deal with men who stink?
Yeah. I promise you.
You know.
And it's cats that deal with that funky
part
cold
of it
Medina
too
sometimes
is-
too, and don't say nothing.
A part of it too, as a woman, is and the viewers can correct me if I'm wrong. Women and in general society treats women's bodies as something that is not okay to discuss, and that's why you'll have women that are suffering with like STIs or just like infections or whatever, that they're scared to even go and get checked or get sorted because like the female body is not something that is like discussed properly in the right channels. Like even like from a parental standpoint.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And one of these days we could talk about it seriously. But today, infection. I am cutting up. Right. I am infected guy. I'm cutting up. But no, that's just my thought. I don't want to drift into a topic on that though. I just watch movies and then be like, man, I will never be me. Man, close us out of here, man. That's all I got. What you want to say?
I ain't got nothing, man.
All right, listen, hey, thank y'all for tuning in to Anxiety Issues Podcast. A to-go message would be, man, bathe yourself, man. Don't be at the door with them wild nuts. That's wild.
And another thing too, though, if you love somebody, tell them they funky. You can find a way to tell them, because I think that's what's crazy though, bro. I like far too often people run in circles where we know who the musty person is, we know who the stank person is, we know somebody who got halitosis, and nobody tell them. We had a stank breath homie, bro, for 20 years, and nobody told him.
Y'all fault.
Consistently for 20 years, heat, pressure, nobody says nothing. 20 years, I'm like, hey, bro, I know it's been a dub, but
you finally told him?
I got to be the one, because nobody gonna tell you.
That's your fault, though. After 20 years, just let me be.
Boy turned into a full-blown murderer.
Yeah, just let me be, though.
So many bodies. Maybe if we would have told him, he wouldn't have caught all them bodies.
Yeah, that's why I say I blame y'all.
Yeah, it's our fault. It's our fault. So if you got a friend that in need of a bath, make sure you find a way to let them know, and you can just like gift them hygiene products. And that's another thing too. I don't want to keep it going. That like it's like the person that need gum never take it. The person that need a bath never accept the gifts. Like if you give them a soap basket,
yeah,
it's almost like, bro,
I'm,
like,
no,
I'm straight.
You.
Yeah, what you mean? No, thank you.
Nah, man, you need my wipes, guys. I'm gonna work on my accent just to do shit like that though. Hey, but listen, thank y'all for tuning in to Anxiety Issues Podcast. I'm Adam 12 Taylor here with Boneface Inc. And thank you, Miss Candace, for stopping by. Till next time.
Your boy, they waiting on who next.